Yeah. Okay. So, all this is probably a very nice initiative. Maybe it is a little late for us. We should have started it earlier. But anyhow, it's very nice as part of our chemical student chapter or alumni association to have an alumni meeting. The current students and also the fellow alumni over internet, over Google Meet. So this is the first meeting what we are going to have, and I'm very happy to start with Harish. More than happy of starting with Harish. The title is even more very dinchak, very probably a title that is attracting everybody on the list now. Uh, because one thing I should say is probably many people think that I am only in contact with people who are in chemical engineering after they graduate. But probably Harish can tell that it's not, because I don't think Harish is in chemical engineering or will be in chemical engineering, as the title says. And I don't think I will be away from chemical engineering. But we have never been out of touch. So that's one thing. And to speak of Harish, I think I have fairly shared a write-up about him from the 2016 batch. Now, I don't want to tell how he was there in the class. I hope he was listening to my course lectures and also do the other course lecture. That is a secret which I will leave Harish to tell if he wants to tell. But Harish also had his share of sweetness, because I think he was part of secretary of the student chapter in his time. So he had lots of sweet emails, sweet SMS, sweet phone calls. He has to go through all that sweetness eventually. And I think, Harish, if I remember, it was in your period we started the website, if I am not wrong, right? Right said, and then eventually it was Sudarsun, your junior, who took it over, and I think who made it.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not going to bore more. I think there are a lot of people very eager to know.
There's already me who's going to bore them. So anyway,
yeah, bore them, and we want to know how come. And unfortunately you took, or fortunately you took, a BTech Chemical Engineering degree, and what is the skill that you have learned in chemical engineering that enabled you to become a successful non-chemical engineer that you are today. And to all the people who do not know, Harish, after his chemical engineering degree, he also did liberal studies as part of his Ashoka University program, and it is after that he is now employed in Mumbai. Right? So over to you, Harish. I'm stopping my screen share.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Before I move on, so I just want to all of you to give me an answer to my question. So can you see my screen? Hello, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are these two quotes. I'm just reading them for you. Now I am become death, the destroyer of the worlds. And there's another quote. In the meanwhile, the demon of barbarity has given up all pretense and has emerged with unconcealed fangs, ready to tear up humanity in orgy of devastation. From one end of the world to the other, the poisonous fumes of hatred darken the atmosphere. So, to give you a context, these two quotes were said in the wake of the Manhattan Project, which is that Hiroshima, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the Second World War. So, I just want you guys to shout out an answer as to who said these two quotes. So, these are two quotes said by two different people. So, the first, can anybody guess who said these quotes? You can
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So the left one is Oppenheimer. The right one? Anybody?
So Harish, for me, huh? It's
Okay,
okay.
okay, okay. Idudha. So the right one was said by Rabindranath Tagore. So I just want you guys to park these two quotes because predominantly, probably what I'm going to speak after this at a certain point will be based on these two quotes. So let me first tell my journey. So as you all know, my name is Harish Krishna. Uh, I sta- I live in this place called Sevapet, which is around 50 kilometers outside Chennai in Tirolu district. Um, After doing my 12th from a school nearby, I went to Sastra. So my how I picked chemical engineering is a very I don't know. It's a memorable story for me. Yet it's also a very interesting story. So what happened was those days. I mean, in those times when we were getting admitted, my there was this very big chunk of state board examination based admissions, right? So I entered Sastra with that with my state board marks. So when I went to the admissions chamber, like we had those computers and people were sitting in the line, and then so I was this confused soul because I had too many interests and I did not know what to do in life. I was confused between computer science, and then somebody told me take ECE, somebody told me take mechanical because it's called that universal engineering, and then nobody told me chemical engineering actually. So what happened was I went to this admission center, uh, and then I was sitting outside the admissions office, and then admissions room, and then I was seeing the all those numbers getting down, and then I was checking at how uh, within 1 hour there were like 7 or 8 computer science seats, and they just got washed away. And then okay, I was like, okay, no, computer science not happening. Then I was looking at IT, and there were 4 seats and washed away in another 10 minutes. And then I looked at, okay, IT is not happening. Let's see ICT. And then I looked at the admission screen, and no, ICT just went. So actually, it did not go away. There was one ICT seat, and there was rest of the other things like chemical engineering, biotech, bioengineering, all of that. So I then went inside for the admissions, and I was sitting. And the person in front of me asked me what do you want to take, and I told ICT. So what happened was the person besides me also yelled ICT. So since her turn was ICT, her turn was the earlier one. She was allotted ICT, and I was sitting there not knowing what to do. So
So,
then,
so I
yeah,
am very happy that you even now know that it was her. Okay, you can continue.
yeah. So fate. Fate had it. So I did not know what to do. I thought, okay, let's take chemical engineering because I don't know why. I mean, it's just it was just some intuitive choice, like some epiphany came in front of me, and then I just took chemical engineering. I came out, and then I had long discussions with my uncle, who was in this, who was a vice president of Coromandel Fertilizers, and I was like, then tried to convince me, and he told me that it's a great opportunity, it's a great growing field, and all of that. So okay, and I was convinced. So basically, what I wanted to say is that whatever chemical engineering happened to be by chance, it was pure probabilistic. Now the world just conspired to me to do chemical engineering and get stuck with Naren sir. So, so yeah. So, so,
Right.
so as soon as I entered my college, I think it was a great experience. Yeah, so Mohan can vouch for my words. Yeah, he says same way, man. Yeah. Okay. So I went into engineering, and there's so many things happening. So the only zeal I had was the fact that despite the fact that I took engineering, and I did not know why I took it, I was clear on the fact that at least I must try and see if this fits me, because this is the only opportunity I have in hand. I can't go out and say let me do arts also, let me do science also, let me do economics also. No, I didn't have that option. So what I did was I took it as a acceptance. I took it as a challenge, and then of course I my first semester was a bomb. So I failed miserably. I mean, I did not have arrears, but I failed miserably. But then which is when I realized that it's fine. I think it's important to uh, see and experiment with what I have right now, because it's important to live in the moment. You can't keep, you've entered it. Now why not exit it with that glory without affecting your self confidence, anything. So I know for a fact that if I fail in this whole 4 years, my self confidence will go down. So I did not want to do that. So I made sure, even if I don't find interest in whatever was being taught to me, I made sure I concentrated on certain aspects of those which interested me a lot. So yeah, so that's how it started, and then 4 years went in a jiffy. I did a lot of things. So one of it is contesting for the elections, and then becoming a secretary, and then getting burns and emails from Naren sir, because, and then I mean, I'm sure every one of you would have experienced this. The biggest nightmare that you have for working with Naren sir is if you don't rename the files properly. So I, I literally got fried every single time, because he just wants me to rename the files just the way he wants it to. But I think it helped a lot, because today in my organization has totally changed the way it renames files, and the lot of influence came from the way I told them to do it, and how I learned it was from him. So so what I learned from engineering. So chemical engineering, yeah, I think that's a huge question mark that faces everyone and me. So what I learned from chemical engineering is that what I loved about chemical engineering is that it's a very multidisciplinary within the engineering streams, right? So you have chemistry, you have physics, you have mechanical engineering, you have electrical engineering, you have everything. So being the kind of person I am, who takes interest in learning too many things, like too many interests. I have a lot of interests. So as you might have read in that introduction, so chemical engineering gave me that diversity. So I would have hated. I literally, after landing into chemical engineering, I was so sure that I would have hated computer science, or I would have hated electrical engineering, because it's too specific. And I had nightmares studying instrumentation in chemical engineering, because it was so dry and I hated it. Like literally, I hated it to the core. I was like, oh, I can't study this. But yeah, I think it still taught me a lot of things. It taught me what control means. So all of this. So I learned a lot of what chemical engineering has to offer. Because also one important point that I'll say now is that chemical engineering gave me an idea into how the larger industrial world works, right? Because I generally, what I do is I don't look at a stream from its own self-centered point of view. So right now, and I'm become a little better at it, which I call, so a lot of people call critical thinking or multidisciplinary thinking. So that's how I used to think about everything. So chemical engineering solidified my worldview of the industrial world, right? So because chemical engineering is at the core of industries, if you look at it. So so what happened during my college years? Uh, I I don't know. I worked on research projects with professors, and I don't know what I did that for, but it gave me a good sneak peek into how research works. And then so I took all of what chemical engineering taught me in a generalistic sense, and I did not go too deep into chemical engineering. That's probably one of the reasons Naren sir also keeps saying you never immersed yourself into chemical engineering. That's why you have never been interested in it. Yeah, I agree to a point, because while Kumaresan sir, I'm not sure how many of you know. I don't think some of you don't know. I mean, like at least couple of batches don't know him. Yeah, so Kumaresan sir was our dean. So what? Uh, so I'll say honestly, what I was doing is I was sitting at the back I always used to sit at the back with Mohan and other people. So what I used to do was sit at the back and read a book, something like Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and I used to read War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, and I used to just keep reading these very rooted in humanities books. I used to not even read those very simplistic, very mass novels like Chetan Bhagat or Amish Tripathi. No, all of these very complex humanity stuff like Crime and Punishment and all of that. So that's exactly so. Naren sir wanted me to say what I was doing at the back where he was teaching fluid mechanics was this basically. So that's so these I never immersed myself completely into chemical engineering because I took chemical engineering in a very generalistic sense to understand in general how chemical engineering is placed in the whole outside world, right? So that's how I took chemical engineering itself. So that's one of the reasons I never became a chemical engineer. Um, and I had fair bit of fun in my college years. But I made sure I so if somebody of you is involved with Sastra's cultural team, you might have known or Tamil Sangam, you might have known this team called Kofta, which was very popular among our batches or the couple of batches forward and before. So I was part of the team Kofta. We used to do dramas, we used to do plays, and what I learned was the specific mime skill. So I mimed. I was a mama, so I learned mime. So Sastra gave me that platform to learn mime, and today I have taken mime to a lot of places. I'll tell you that experience as well. So mime, yeah, and then I did a lot with uh, ISCHE chap. So I along with another friend of mine, Shweta, who's not able to join here. So we did a lot of work for ISCHE chap. So as Naren sir told, I built that first website for both ISHES chap and CAPE also. So I had so I how what was my outlet for no, of lack of productivity in my subject was these extracurricular activities. But I made sure, as I said, as I've entered this whole arena, I made sure I exit this with glory in both curriculars and extracurriculars, because I know, as I said, for a fact that I might myself lose confidence so if I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Uh, as you so one on one side you're not interested in what this whole thing is about. On the other hand, you can't study because you're not interested. But what I would definitely say is if you're not really oh, can anybody guess my CGPA? Yes, sir. Why? Why? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Can anybody guess? No guesses, guys. Except Mohan, please. Okay. Okay. 7ish. 6.57. Okay. 6. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So my CGPA was around 8.2. So, I mean, from whatever I am talking, this might shock you because I really never was interested in chemical engineering, and Naren sir and Mohan also would testify that. But as I said, it was very important for me to keep up that confidence because going ahead, even if I don't do anything related to chemical engineering, I needed that confidence, right? So I can't let go of this confidence because that's where my willpower and my future lies. So I can't. So what I did was I studied. It's fine. I just got marks. I have gotten 10 marks in fluid mechanics. I'm telling you, but then I made sure I scored 35. So I did not cross 35. Definitely, Naren sir would refuse to give me marks more than 35. So my highest in fluid mechanics was 35, and lowest was like 10 marks. As I said, he just scratched all pages of my uh, answer sheet, and I never recovered from that trauma. I was like, what? Who's this man doing this? Because as soon as we entered into second year, I'm like, what? Why is everything? Because my first year, first 3 semesters were like I had an exponential increase in the CGPA and all. I was very confident in life, even if I'm not interested in chemical engineering. I was very, oh yes, this is good. Okay, it's fine. At least let me study like this and all. And then I enter this fourth semester, and then I get 10 marks in this CIA, and I was like, okay, is somebody is the problem with me or is the problem with somebody else? But yeah, I think that helped a lot. It still made me work better and at least try to get that 35 that I got. But I think so. The crux of this whole story is that I kept up both my extracurriculars and curriculars in balance because both of them gave me some form of confidence. Extracurriculars gave me a form of confidence where I know I have something beyond academics, but I did not want to lose that confidence on me in academic side also. I wanted to I mean, not show, at least I wanted to tell myself that it's very important for you to be good in academics also. You were good at in academics before. You can't lose that credibility for yourself. So be good at it. So I ended up, anyone who wanted to ask specific questions can even text in the chat also. Yes, you can unmute and ask me, stop me, or yeah, you can put the messages in the box. So yeah, that's done. So I exited Sastra with a considerable amount of glory, I should say. I was. It's not that I was a huge popular all of this person, but I exited it with considerable amount of journey. But I did not exit as chemical engineer. I'm telling you, I just exited as someone who holds a BTech degree in chemical engineering. There's massive difference in these two, but I made sure I exited with glory. So that's one important point message that I wanted to convey to you guys. Do not let go of your glory because it's just test for yourself. Because I'm sure you will lose confidence if you don't perform in at least one of them. It's fine. I mean, I'm not saying you have to get 8 point. It's not to your satisfactory levels. Please perform as much as you would sustain your confidence, right? So I've told all of this to Mohan also a lot of times because Mohan is one of the most carefree person that you'll ever see. Like he's like, ah, it's okay, man. Paul, பரவாயில்லடா என்னடா இதுல இப்படி என்னடா அவ்வளோ பெரிய விஷயம் இல்லடா. That's what he keeps saying this, and he's one of those carefree guys. But ironically, if you see, Mohan has taken forward chemical engineering, and I have nothing to do with chemical engineering today. So that is why I think it's important. You don't even know what is your interest. So I think it's very important to keep your sanity alive. That's a better way to put it, I think. Keep your sanity alive because exit your college with glory. That's what I would say. I don't know if I'm equipped to and give you all of these advices or give you all of these TED talks, but yeah, I think that's what I did. I'm just sharing my experience. So what I did after chemical engineering, I exited chemical engineering and I joined Manali Petrochemicals. I'm not sure if they're coming for recruitment now. I hope they aren't. So, so I did my. I got my job at Manali Petrochemicals, and I was like, okay, so I did not graduate as chemical engineering. Maybe the world is conspiring and telling me.
Yeah, but here there is one contrast. Nobody is asking, so at least I should ask. There is one question by Aishwarya. You can answer that, but I'll also make my question. Aishwarya is actually in the third year. Okay. So that's one thing. And I will give Aishwarya's what is going on in her mind. Aishwarya is like, if you allow her to sing 25 hours on 24 hours per day, she will be happy.
Okay. Yes.
So if you allow her to sing 25 hours per day, then she will be the happiest soul. But unfortunately, there are subjects and CAs and exams. But anyhow, nevertheless, my question is, you said your heart was not in chemical engineering, right? Why you did not took a bold step of not sitting for a Manali interview? You should have
Uh,
then said no.
yeah, I
You
think
can
good
answer
question.
Aishwarya's. You can answer Aishwarya's, and then you can come to this.
So thanks, Aishwarya, for the question because yeah, so I agree. So I'm very glad you hated computer science and still built a website. Okay, so I'll first answer Aishwarya's question. So Aishwarya, the thing is that uh, um, how do I put it? So I did mime. I did. I was working on so many things with ISC. I mean, see the student chapter, and I was also in Dutch teams. I was also in KS teams. I was so many. I was in so many things. What I actually did, even in those so many I mean, I won't say distractions, but so many of those other interests that we are talking about, right? There was so many of these interests, so I did so many of these things along with the fact that I studied also. This is because the only way I could do this is that I used to cancel all of these interests at least before the time of exam. Uh, if you look at if you look at this, if you take the CIS, I'd at least start getting a feel of what the test is going to be about at least 1 week in advance. I used to do that because okay, I practice every day. I come back, I watch a movie because I used to watch so much movies. I used to read so much books, and that's I used to participate in so many other extracurriculars like Dutch, KS, Mime, Tamil Sangam, all of these. But what I made sure was I just have you good CGP on okay, great. Okay. So what I made sure was that I at least got a feel of what the coming test is going to be about because as I said, it's just a mindset, right? It's just if you've decided the fact that okay, this is not for us, this is not going to be my forte, and if you've already set your mind for that, you'll never reach that mindset of trying at least for the heck of the fact that you're already here. And the one important point was if you look at what was core of my motivations in Shastra, I think it was to exit Shastra with glory, and what was at the periphery of this was the other interests. So I think it's just the mindset. You don't have to work that way, but it's just the mindset. If you just set your mind to say, okay, the core of this the my purpose at Shastra is that I'm going to exit it with good CGPA. I'm just saying. So you don't have to work that much towards it. I never kept studying, and I never took any interest whatsoever with what Naren sir used to say. I just attempted it out of sheer interest, and I always used to have those different point of views and different ways to look at things. So what I did was I actually merged my extracurriculars and curriculars together, and the thinking also. So the way I thought of as I said, the way I thought of chemical engineering was not so deep enough. So I took a very generalistic stance. I used to combine humanities and chemical engineering and see what's actually together in it. And so I used to think, okay, I don't get a lot of technical part of chemical engineering. How about seeing how energy affects the world politics? I looked at it that way, right? So that was the way I coped up, and I merged my own interests together. You can do it your way. I don't know how you will do it, but this is the crux, right? You just slightly change the mindset and say, my I know my important lies and my efforts will be towards singing, which is the actual core. But if you slightly change the mindset and say my actual core is getting a good CGPA and studying, and my periphery goal is singing, even if you don't work so much on the core and work too much on the periphery, you because of that mindset will drive you. That's it. That's all I have to say. So, and I'll answer. I hope I can answer other questions. I complete my journey, so it's going to be 2:40 already. So I'll answer the other questions later. So Yeah, so what I did was I graduated. I went to. I hope this answers your question, Aishwarya. You can still park your question. I can answer it more if you want, or you can contact me later. Yeah. So the point is that so I went to Manali Petrochemicals. So why I sat for the interview of Manali Petrochemicals was that at the end of chemical engineering, so at the end of like 3.5 years, I realized my interest has not gotten focused or solidified yet. So I did not still not know that this is the way I have to go in life. To be honest, I still to even today I don't know. So maybe I am that way. That's my character, but still I was still not sure why that. So I still thought there's some scope for me in chemical engineering. So I just sat for MPL. I also sat for like so many. I got a job in TCS also. I got a job in MPL, and then I got a job in another one of my friends' startup also. But what I did was I thought, okay, now I've done 4 years of engineering. I graduated with 8 CGPA. That means there's some substance to what I did, right? So I know I can't continue doing my mime forever, right? So it was very difficult. Also, I was an athlete, so I used to be a sprinter, and I used to be in the Shastra athletics team, and I know for the fact that athletics can't be my profession. So I know I can't do something on humanities also because as a person I love humanities more and arts also. So all of this sociology, psychology, and anthropology, and all of economics, behavioral economics, all of this interests me a lot. But I know I can't have a career in that because I have now because the world looks at it as a qualification. You have to enter these fields through qualifications. So I thought, okay, this is one of the ways I can I have credibility, and I think they have substance in it. At least my studies shows that. So I just went ahead with that option, and I went and joined Manali Petrochemicals. Manali Petrochemicals was test of my patience. I have to tell you, Manali Petrochemicals. It's one of the most hardest, most tiring jobs. It's not hard. It's not difficult, but it's very tiring. It tests your patience, and I learned a lot in MPL because one of the most important memorable incidents was when I was involved in a huge fire accident in MPL that happened. It just blew up the building. The building started blowing up, and it started firing, and I was the field engineer at that point of time. So all of this showed me what is what it. See, I think I did not take those technical aspects of MPL forward, although I did some of it. But what I took forward from Sastra and MPL was that those soft qualities like resilience and so MPL was one place that tested my patience and told me that you are one of the most resilient people. So you you can you can bear whatever comes to you comes that faces you, right? So that way MPL taught me those skills, those experiences, so I can never negate any of these experiences. And that's one of those advice I'll tell you guys, because all of this 4 years of your life, and the whatever choice you go beyond, please do not regret them, because there are reasons why you chose them, uh, and you will not learn anything. That's why. So you learn, come out with some learning, and definitely cherish that learning and forget the negatives. That's what I'll say, because my time at MPL was like, to those who do not know, used to travel.
No,
Okay,
no, that is
yeah.
not for you. That's not for you.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
for
yeah.
others.
So from Sevapet to Manali was like 2.5 hours travel, to 2.5 to 3 hours. So it was a very it took a lot of me to cross that MPL at obviously. So when you at one point you hit a roadblock and think for the fact that no, this is not what you want to be. Uh, Life felt like for me like an experiment, and I'm fine with doing those experiments. So what I did was I started to look for options. I was thinking, should I do chemical engineering? No, my answer within me said no, because probably I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. And I was okay with the fact that this realization came after 2 years. 2 years of working in chemical engineering, chemical engineering sector itself. So, but I'm telling you, I was good at it. I was good at running a plant. I was good at doing whatever the work demanded, but I was not interested. I was not interested at all. So what I did was I applied for this very exciting project. One of our seniors, Adav, who's in Bangalore right now.
It's not for you.
Sorry? Yeah, okay. So I completed. So one of our seniors, Adav, who's in Bangalore right now, he suggested I look at this program called Young India Fellowship, which is at Ashoka University in Haryana. So it was about liberal arts, liberal studies, and it promised you of a multidisciplinary approach to understanding the world and knowledge and critical thinking, all of that. So I said, okay, this fits me appropriately well because there were so many subjects that were related to me. You guys can check it out. It's a great program. I'll suggest any of you to take it up. But what bonanza had happened was that I was at my office in the company in the plant, and I was handling this methyl isocyanate chemical. So subjects that were related to me. You guys can check it out. It's a great program.
It's not from my shadow. Somebody has played it.
What bonanza had happened
Hello?
was that I was at
Hello?
my office in the company in the plant. Can somebody mute it?
Manish Khanna, Manish, yeah. Manish,
Sir.
you have to mute it. I think you are playing the live. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Harish, you can continue.
So where did I leave? Yeah. So it promised me a multidisciplinary learning. You can check it out, Young India Fellowship. So I applied. I was at the plant handling this chemical called. I was so eager to get the admissions because I just want to. I was so interested in that program that I was so eager to get the admission. I was handling this chemical. I was rolling the drum of methyl isocyanate, and I saw the phone ringing. I saw the message, and it said, congratulations, you have been admitted." I dropped that methyl isocyanate at that immediate place, and just I ran to the bathroom, and then I was like jumping in joy, all of that, and then yeah. So that was the story. That's the amount of elation I got as soon as I understood the fact that okay, I'm going to go out of this place, which is MPL. So I did not enjoy working at MPL, so that's why. So I went to Young India Fellowship. Young India Fellowship is that one. I mean, it's probably one of the turning points in my life because as soon as I entered Young India Fellowship, it was a culture shock because the nature at Ashoka is a very liberal scene. Oh yeah, that's one important point. Why I did one of the reasons why I went ahead with Young India Fellowship was that I got a full scholarship. So it's a 9 lakh course, but I got it on full scholarship. I went that was one of the reasons why I did because I would have definitely not afforded paying 9 lakhs. Yeah, so I went on a full tuition scholarship. I went there and I had a culture shock. Because Ashoka is a very liberal space. It's everything that not Shastra is. That Shastra is not, right? So it was a culture shock. Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. So it was a culture shock, and then I slowly got introduced into that system, and I got merged into that system. I started getting so much knowledge because I had a subject on sociology. It was all from topmost professors. One of the professors was also who is also an MP member of parliament. One of the professors was from Yale. One of the professors was from Wharton School. One of the professors was Arvind Subramanian, who was the chief economic advisor earlier. So one of the professors was Mihir Shah, who was in a planning commission. All of these people like inspired me so much and gave it like a dump of knowledge on me. I learned crazy amount of it because I had a subject on sociology, I had subject on psychology, I had subject on history, on totalitarian century, totalitarian regimes, and I had subjects on philosophy, and I had subjects on behavioral science, behavioral economics, business, leadership, all of this. It was a plethora of knowledge bundled into one year program. It was very, very intense, I have to say, because there was no day where I slept earlier than 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and woke up at like 8:39 in the morning, because maximum 5 hours of work, maximum 5 hours of sleep. That was the only thing. So I love this experience. Young India Fellowship remains to be one of the most important experiences, and I can tell you more detail at if you could, I can talk to you in person. But I have to tell you some defining moments of Young India Fellowship were that I worked on this project on changing behaviors, right? So I was I was trying to understand why. So in a very elite, so Ashoka is one of the most elite universities. So is Shastra, I'm telling you. Ashoka is one of those elite universities where there are so many rich people, there's so many upper class and upper caste people. So even in this situation, there are people who do not flush toilets. So I was like, what? Why are it people flushing toilets in a very advanced, evolved space? Right? Ashoka is also one of the spaces where you had one janitor every floor to keep check of the all the washrooms all the time. And it was a very trauma. It was a very I took it a very in a very personal sense, and I was like, why should these janitors flush somebody else poop, right? So I was like, why are people not washing? So I along with like another 4 of my friends, we did this project called exploring behavioral science through health and sanitation. So this was one of those defining moments. What we did was we took this Ashoka space, and we also took a space outside Ashoka and tried to research and understand why people don't flush toilets. So we came up with different hypotheses. We tested those hypotheses scientifically. We did behavioral economics. We used R programming. We used Excel sheets, and so much skills. I learned so much skills from this. And then uh, one turning point was what I picked up from Shastra and took it to this at YF was at 2 points. One is that I performed mime to change the behaviors of school children at this very dirty neighborhood called Jahangirpuri in Delhi. So there was this government school. What we did was we went and tried to change these children's behaviors to make them wash hands, so that because washing hands was one of the reasons why they were falling sick and not coming to school. So we tried to change these behaviors, and we were successful in doing that. Because and then what happened was I did mime. I acted as a uh, I acted as a small clown who taught them who gave them a reason as to why they should wash their hands, and also taught them how to do it, and they related a lot to me. And then this happened, and that was one of the most rewarding experience that I ever had, because 1 month from that performance and 1 month from that performance I did, the teachers there called up us and said, students have started putting 1 rupee each, and they have now kept a hand wash dispenser at the classroom. So this was one of the most defining experiences that I had. And I thought, okay, the world is not just about chemical engineering, and there's so much beyond chemical engineering, and why Young India Fellowship gave me that experience, right? So even if you graduate out of chemical engineering and are not interested in chemical engineering, never get bogged down, because there's so much out there that you can do. And the second experience was I acted as a mama and tried to convey people the depth of depression, anxiety, and mental health problems through my mime act. So after that whole performance, people came up to me and said, I empathized a lot with what you did, and they started crying in front of me, and it was a very defining experience. And it changed the way I looked at the world, right? So all of these experiences.
Hello.
So there were so many subjects where people were talking about, "Arey, climate change tackle karna hai." Achoo, shit, I'm talking in Hindi. I'm sorry, guys. So, we have to tackle climate change, and we have to. There's so much global crisis. There's this going on, that going on, and then chemical engineering told me that it's the problem is with the consumers. Actually, the problem is not with the world outside. The problem is you are consuming so many things, and chemical engineer. So why do chemical factories exist? Because there are so many downstream products that end up in a consumer's hand, which they consume, and that is why chemical industries exist, right? Arguments actually helped me change the whole view of the and all of that. So definitely lot of technical stuff. So I right now even so one of my friends is working with this energy management company which is in ECR. I forgot its name, but so I also discuss with him and say, okay, so now we are how do you save energy, and what is the requirement of saving energy, all of this. So now at this juncture, what I wanted to say to you guys is that so I have to bring back Oppenheimer and Rabindranath Tagore's quote here, right? So why did I get that quote here? So look, I just wanted you guys to imagine and look at how Oppenheimer looked at bursting of the atom bomb and how Rabindranath Tagore looked at bursting of the atom bomb. So my one of the most important insights, or one of the most important revelations that I had in life was that you have to think like Rabindranath Tagore, but not leave the expertise of Oppenheimer. That's what I wanted to say, because you can't think Oppenheimer. You can't say death is in my hands. Because bursting of an atom bomb and being involved, you know that the Manhattan Project and the atom bomb is going to kill millions and millions of people in Japan, but you went ahead and did it. So so what this is the problem with engineering today, right? So engineering does not give you that moral education or philosophical education, and that hinders your questioning ability as to what you're doing. Right now, if you're doing a research on, say, increasing the output production of methane or methyl isocyanate as part of your research, you also have to ask a philosophical question: is this something right I'm doing? Is this the right kind of research I'm doing, or should I work on a different kind of research? Should I work on how to cut the efficiencies of these products so that the world can be saved from climate crisis? I wrote a recent article on Communic. I think you guys, it'll be great if you guys read it, because I wrote about how chemical engineering and politics come together, right? So this is how it comes together. You can't always think about world in a one singular point of view, and this is the problem with our engineering education. I'm not saying it's the problem with Shastra. I'm not saying it's the problem with IITs. Throughout our engineering education, the problem is that we are not taught philosophical and ethical reasoning, right? So this forms the core of what I wanted to say, because it's important for you guys to critically think as to what any step that you're taking will have certain consequences, both in terms of yourself as a self transformation, but also for the larger society, because any step that you take today is political. Your presence in this world is a political presence. So I think it's important to combine think like Tagore and have the expertise of Oppenheimer, uh, which is the need of the hour, because probably and this COVID crisis is teaching us all that, right? You can't say that I have so much advanced tech healthcare in US and not have a policy which distributes that healthcare, right? So I am so advanced in technical is where moral philosophical questioning joins with engineering and technical stuff, right? So I think it's important you guys develop this both aspect and bring it alive in your everyday living. And I am glad of my interest in humanities that made me such a thinker today. I today think of all the consequences of what I do. So oh yeah, you communicate editors, you can give me any feedback that you have. But yeah, anyway, so this is something I wanted to say. I'll just check if I have anything left out. Yeah, so I think it's important to combine this critical thinking, think in multidisciplinary manner. Does your action have a ethical consequence, moral consequence, political consequence, economic consequence? All of this. I think it's important your thinking goes in there this way, because that's probably the going to be the future. Right now, okay, I just want to conclude as to by saying right now I work at this company called Quantum Consumer Solutions. It's a human centered design company. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this term, human centered design. It's basically designing any everyday object or any system or any whatever it is. It's designing something by keeping the human being in mind. So it is important to not ignore the emotions of a human being, and you can't say technology can work in its isolation because it works for human beings. You can't ignore those end users. So what we do is we study these end users and see what is the requirement of this end user, and see what's the social, anthropological, and psychological consequence of such a design, and then suggest and give these companies and social organizations a certain design that's fit for the human being, and they take that design forward. This is what I do right now. So this has nothing to do with engineering, but it has a lot to do with the products that come out of chemical engineering, like FMCG and cement. And we work with cement products, we work with FMCG products. Yeah.
Harish, you have a
So
question.
if you
Harish,
yeah.
you have a question in the chat.
So Hari Haran says, if you did no, yeah. If you did not get this opportunity in Akka, what would you have done? Would you have continued as chemical, tried to shine in the field, or chosen to do something else? I wanted to know if you had accepted what you got and taken a risk and tried to change in life. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said, right? At the end of 2 years at MPL, I was like, this is not what I wanted to do, and I was searching for so many options. I wanted to do MBA. Maybe that's because I know I was good at it. And your thoughts? Okay, so he has more questions. Ashish Ramesh. Unconventional things. I don't do what a lot of people do. So I am naturally that risk taker. I wouldn't have been in chemical engineering. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been in chemical engineering. And Narendra would testify for the fact that from the levels of interest I had, I wouldn't have become the proper chemical engineering that the industry deserves. Whether I deserve it or not is a second thing, but the industry doesn't deserve a chemical engineer like me, because maybe I might blow up another vessel. I don't know. I'm just saying. So I thought it's not the right thing for me to be in this industry. So I would have definitely moved. That's I hope that answers your question. Ashish is asking, thank you for taking okay. For the benefit of current batch who have taken their time out of the call, I have 3 questions for you. There might be people who are in this group who are undecided on what to do there in the next life. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm sure there are a lot of people. Can you please elaborate on who the YF course is for, and the deadline of YF is in 10 days? The kind of opportunities that you get fresh out of YF, and the fellow MBA aspirants who should go for an MBA and who should take up YF, as both these courses touch upon people management. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Ashish. Thanks. I mean, it's a very relevant question that you asked. So I thought if people approached me, I would have definitely spoken to them. Yeah. So YF has one of those problems and advantages. It's a conundrum. If you see, the problems and advantages of YF is that it, as soon as you enter YF, it opens up a Pandora box. It exposes you to so many things in this world, and you suddenly feel like, okay, there's so many things we don't even know exist in life. So YF is more interest based, so you have a lot of job opportunities that come up when you come out of YF, but lot of it will incline towards combination of, if you still want to be in touch with your chemical subjects, you will definitely probably not be in the actual technical part of chemical engineering, but you will be probably somewhere working in the Confederation of Indian Industries, where they're regulating chemical industries, right? So there's industrial policy, there's chemical policy, there's engineering policy. All of this. These are all the opportunities that you might find when you go there at YF. Other kind of opportunities is one of, so YF is one of those place where you can take a completely different turn. I'll give you an example. One of my friends at YF, he is a MBBS doctor. So he's a doctor. So he came to YF because probably he felt doctorate. I mean, clinical consultation is not what he wanted to do. So he came to the YF, got the exposure. So YF has this 1 year extension program where you can extend your 1 year to complete the diploma and get a degree, master's in liberal studies. So and at that point of time, you could focus on a subject. So what this guy did was he focused on philosophy, right? He did his master's in liberal studies in philosophy. Now he's in University of Minnesota, where he's doing his doctorate, philosophy of medicine. So this is how medicine and arts and humanities combined, right? So he's doing philosophy of medicine. So this might give you a very different view of the world. You will be like, what? There's such a thing called philosophy of medicine. So you never know. You never know what you're interested in. So if you're really confused, I think YF is one good place to be. Even if you YF, one disclaimer is that YF might confuse you even more. But at the end of the YF, what you will be like, you will be very confident. You will be confused with confidence. So it's better to be confused and with confidence than just being confused and clueless. So is YF like MBA? No. MBA is a totally different game altogether. But like me, maybe I don't know. I think I might do an MBA. I don't know. But YF is a totally different ball game. There are people from YF who've gone on to do MBA from Harvard, Yale, Wharton, Kellogg. There are a lot of people who have done that. There are also people who have hated a thing like MBA and gone on to journalism. They've gone on to do their masters in sociology. So one of my friends is doing this masters in International School of Development Management, IIM in Geneva. So he's doing his studies, masters in flood management, right? So how do floods change the sociology and behavior of people? And how geography and technical geotagging and GPS and info management and global, what is that? Geographical information systems, how all of these can prevent floods and what to do. And so this is how he combines technical knowledge with philosophy, right? So philosophy and sociology. So he's studying Chennai floods, Assam floods, and how it displaced people and how it led to a massive crisis and how to prevent such a crisis from happening. So all of this. This is the range of experience that YF gives. So I think I've given you a fair set of point of view as to how to differently look at whatever you're studying right now. I hope that helped. I think I should stop my monologue here. I can take more questions. Or if Naren sir has something to ask or say or anything.
Yeah, I don't have. Is anybody else having questions?
Anybody?
Anybody else is having question? I don't think. Okay, is Ashish there? Ashish, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So any other question? Okay. So, so good. I hope at least somebody came first to begin this series, because when I just floated this day before yesterday, I just thought it on a Sunday when I got up that I should do this. I never thought that the response will come immediately, and I'm happy that Harish instantly texted that he wants to join. Okay, so that's very nice. But I think instead of me giving the ending note, I think I should give that honor to Ashish, because he's the senior most of all the participants here. And for one another reason, Ashish is a combination of a wonderful gate scorer plus a topper in CAT. So that's one combination that Ashish has, and is the first batch that I took in from Shastra. So Ashish,
Nice.
I want you to give the closing comments.
Thank you very much, sir. But then, thank you very much for your kind words. But then this is Harish's this thing. I didn't want you to put on my credits here, and I don't want to share his limelight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for Harish for this entertaining talk. To be very honest, it was you had actually given a complete lowdown of your entire journey in your chemical engineering, and then a brief about your stint at Manali, and you finally ended it with your perspective, how Ashoka University and the course at YF actually completely changed your perspective. I hope this would have had probably rekindled thoughts on some of the existing batch students who had joined on a lazy Saturday afternoon to this talk. For those at least who are completely undecided on what they would want to do, say who are very clear that they don't want to pursue chemical engineering but then don't know what to do, your talk would have actually helped them in at least put in some direction and put in some food for thought for them. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you very much for the entertaining talk.
Right.
I'm glad you joined this call, Ashish. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, and is there any other question? I'm just buying time so that if at all, if there is no question, we close maybe in a few minutes, because I have a next meeting at 3:30, which I have to host. So I will close.
Sure.
Before I close, now just because Harish has mentioned so many times one name, can somebody guess? He has mentioned so many times one name in his talk. Okay, so any guesses in the chat?
Any special prize?
No. The special prize, if it is Ashish, I will give the special prize later on. Right. No, not my name. Yeah, Prasanna is from third year is good. So yeah, Mohan is always very fond that everybody likes Mohan and takes their name. So I want Mohan to tell something about this interaction with Harish. Yeah, Mohan from Finland.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's like very refreshing, sir. Very thank you to you to just arrange all these things.
I'm not asking about me. I'm asking you to talk about Harish.
Harish, yeah, Sati said that we were at the last bench, like four guys, always sitting at the last bench, out of chemical engineering, always just guessing the world with a different perspective. And yeah, it was like that, and it was full of enjoyment. We enjoyed a lot. Like it was a different kind of enjoyment that would say that people would, professors like we will thrash us like anything, and we will go around you a little bit later. That was very, very, very fun, and we enjoyed it a lot. And we learned a lot.
So you accept Harish is a chemical engineer or he is not a chemical engineer? What is your answer?
The degree says we all are chemical engineers, but it should be tested.
No, I'm not asking about you. I'm asking about Harish.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he is
chemical engineer.
Yeah, of course, he is chemical engineer.
Okay, thank you. So that's nice. I think one question has come. No, okay. So there's no other questions. Anything else? So maybe I can just take this. We have already got, I think, about 4 more in pipeline. Tomorrow, Sunday, we have one from Maitreyi, which is from the very, very colorful batch of 2014.
Okay, nice.
Classmate Sundar is going to speak on Monday. And then probably next week, we also have another speaker who is actually is now employed in an IT firm, a fantastic homemaker, extremely a nice person to write on blogs on all things that she thinks of, Rukmani from 2013 batch.
Okay.
And probably next Saturday, we are also going to have Hariharan from Australia. So we already have, I think, 1 to 4 more at least tentatively lined up. So I hope we will have other batches, other people to also come forward and ask. Maybe I should take one comment from someone here who is a junior. I am just, maybe it will be Harish, it will be very befitting. I will ask Venkatanathan, are you there?
Yeah, he's there.
Venkatanathan, Kekarda. Venkatanathan. Is Venkatanathan there?
He's on the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, Venkatanathan, you can speak. You can unmute. Yeah, Harish, for you, I have to tell, Venkatanathan is also a part of mime team. He has lots of interest, right? And in that interest, I am trying to find him when he will study my fluid mechanics. Okay, so he is part of the technotainment team, and I think also the mime team. So Venkatanathan, you can give your probably the present students' comments, closing mark for Harish. Yeah, Venkatanathan, you can unmute. Venkatanathan, கேக்குறதா உனக்கு? I don't recollect.
He has
he
left the meeting.
Oh, so now you can understand how much people have an affection.
Maybe you
So
can ask someone.
no, I think he has joined.
Scarred and scared people, sir.
Scared.
Hello,
Joined again.
sir. Is it audible?
Yeah, is it
Yeah,
audible? Yeah, Venkatanathan.
Yeah, it was my mistake. I'm sorry. Instead of unmuting, I just ended the call. I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, Harish.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
before Venkatanathan continues, you see how much respect he has. எவ்வளவு பயந்து பேசுறான் பையன் பத்தியா?
ஐயோ
Venkatanathan,
இதுக்கு நான்
continue.
என்ன சொல்ல? Yeah, tell.
Yeah, Venkatanathan, continue.
Yeah, it was so nice of Harish Anna to come and like spend a few times with us. You know, we were. I got a lot of information on what to do next. I was actually having no idea of what I'm going to do. I think most of the people also in our batch doesn't have a clear idea as to what to do and how to proceed in their future. So after hearing your insights, I mean, we got an idea on what to do and how to proceed forward. So thank you, Harish Anna, for that.
I'm glad. Definitely. Thank you.
Right, Venkatanathan, what you have to do next is fluid mechanics.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
I would love to keep in touch with you all. If you could, I mean, if you want to contact in any on anything, I would love to help. But yeah.
So I think we will end the meeting with this. I hope there is no other questions. Yeah, thank you, Harish. It's okay. So soon we should see you at Tatra.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. See you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Thanks a lot. என்னை கேட்க வந்ததுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி. I hope I gave you good. I don't know. I don't want it to be a gyan, but I think I hope I entertained you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.